A few days ago, I uploaded Team Battle Jinx, followed by a Team Battle Twitch. I made the comment that I firmly believe that Jungle Jinx is the better quote-unquote jungler, but that Jungle Twitch was the more justifiable pick. This confused some people, especially advocates for Jungle Twitch, as to what I actually meant by that. In short, justifying a jungler means you have a good reason to actually pick the champion in that role. In a way, it means you have a purpose to give them, and it actually comes naturally to them. Jinx and Twitch are actually good examples of this. Jungle Jinx is perhaps all around better than Jungle Twitch when you take into consideration efficiency, reliability, and transition, and in a no-kill game, that Jinx would probably be likely better to contribute more and have a better chance at ganking non-suicidal lanes. However, what purpose is there to bring Jinx into the jungle? She's better in the lane, of course. She won't get close to the same amount of farm in the jungle than she would in lane. She can't compete against a lot of other junglers and will get stomped, and her transition is she won't, she can't take a second summoner spell to survive in team fights, and her utility can be emulated by even more powerful junglers. She can be a capable jungler, but she's basically pointless. There is no reason to even pick her in the jungle, outside of fun, I guess. However, Twitch has a stealth mechanic that allows him to perform a different style of gank, not available to many other junglers, let alone champions as a whole. He can take advantage of the enemy's poor positioning, avoid wards, and put himself in a weird but powerful gank position. Kills are never guaranteed, of course, but if he were able to get a few kills, he'll be able to snowball the game and transition into a late game monster. Twitch can actually have a purpose for that. If you start applying this to a lot of junglers that are commonly picked, you start noticing that a lot of them have certain flaws that are ignored because of what they will inevitably contribute. Of course, if their flaws are ridiculously crippling, the jungler will never see the light of day, but point still stands. This is why even some junglers with awesome jungle prowess aren't picked. For a while, Trundle was not picked because he was pretty much had no purpose in the game. He counters teams with single tanks and is generally hard to kill, but during the time, some time ago, there were team comps that didn't revolve around this. They didn't have tanks that he drained or anything. So despite his great stats, there was no point in picking him. This breaks it into two types of justification moments: the second place and the Professor Oak. Some junglers are not picked because there are simply better versions of them available. Even if they have some differences, they might not be enough reason to pick them, or the differences are just a different approach of doing the same thing. A good example of this is Sejuani in comparison to the other similar tank junglers. They all do the same thing, but they're all basically stronger versions of Sejuani currently, so there's no real reason to pick her. Why pick the inferior choice when you had the same opportunity to pick the superior choice? It's like buying knockoff Cheerios at the same price as you could have bought regular Cheerios. The Professor Oak is the whole, this isn't the right time to use that reasoning. Even niche junglers can have moments where they can become great jungle picks, but outside of those times they can just be pointless and even detrimental. Malphite is a strong pick versus attack speed reliant opponents and physical heavy teams. Even against a team that isn't heavy on either of those two things, he can be an alright pick. However, if his opponents are largely magic and do not rely on attack speed, then Malphite is a really unjustifiable pick, and a pretty damn detrimental one at that. There is no reason to pick him, and it's just best to pick someone else. So if you ever wonder why an ex-jungler is rarely picked, you can apply this and realize it's because they either are pointless, overshadowed, or they just flat out suck at jungling.